and welcome into the Knicks-Verse. My name is George, and if this is your first time here, please subscribe, or if you've been here before and haven't subscribed yet, please do so, and turn on the notification bells. That way you can know when I drop these videos, and thumbs ups, and the comments. So much appreciate those. This is our Knicks-Verse, so I love to get the feedback and your comments, and it really impacts, like I said before, what I do on here. Like, for example, I got requests to look at the bench, and that's what this video is all about. Last week, we looked at the starting five, which, in my opinion, is scary good. It's gonna scare the NBA. I don't think, in fact, let me just take a moment here to dive into what the Knicks actually have done. The front office I'm talking about. What they've done is they have enhanced the weaknesses, and they've brought back some of the players that delivered positively last season to make this incredible, remember the whole metaphor about let the cake keep baking? Well, in essence, they have. But this is what they did. Took the cake out, now we've added the icing. Fournier, Kemba, the draft picks. This is very, very exciting. I'm so excited. In fact, I think the NBA is sleeping a little bit on the Knicks once again, just like they did last season. And how we're going to show that? We're going to look at the numbers. We're going to look at the bench numbers from last season, and then we're going to compare it to the new players that have been added, which interestingly isn't that many players. All we've done is replace some of the players like Knox, Frank Ntilikina, and Austin Rivers. There were some other ones, but I'm not going to focus on them. We'll only focus on the ones that gave significant contributions last season. And those have been replaced by Nerlens going to the bench now because we're getting Mitch back, and by our two draft picks, Quentin Grimes and Miles McBride. How much time they're going to get? We shall see. We shall see. But they have much more to offer to this squad than the bench players, the situational players offered last season. So this whole thing has gotten better. And here's the other part. We now have a full season of the man, Derrick Rose. That's right, Derrick Rose was the difference last season. Everybody played better when Derrick Rose was on the court. And if you haven't seen that video that I put out, you should definitely check it out. I'll drop the link so you can look at it. You can see how he impacted everybody in such a positive way. And now he's going to be playing primarily, I would assume, I'm sure he's going to have some time with the starters. Here's the other thing is we don't know exactly how everything's going to go because of the issues with Kemba's knees. And, the limits, the minute limits that they're going to have to place on our two, older starter point guards. But you know what? It's not really, I don't see that as a negative. I see it as a positive because it's going to force Tom Thibodeau to rotate more players into his rotation. He actually went 10 deep last year very often. So let's hope he stays that way. But let's hope that he doesn't, when he goes 10 deep, it's not like he gives 4 minutes to some of the other guys. Let's hope he gives like 8 minutes. Maybe Quentin can get 8 minutes when he gets to play. So we shall see. We shall see. It's my term here for the off season because it's all just speculation right now. But when you look at the numbers reveal a lot. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at the offensive rating and the defensive rating and then the net rating after that for each of the players and how they stack up to last year's bench. All right, let's go.
All right. Okay, so here we're going to look at the 2020-2021 stats for the bench for last season's Knicks. So here we had, even though Derrick Rose did play often with the starting unit after a while, he came off the bench. Elfrid started. So here, the beauty is now we have Kemba as the starter, so Derrick Rose is the lead point guard off the bench. Probably the first player to come off the bench, most likely. Followed by, so here's Rose, Quickley, Toppin, Burks, Taj Gibson. We had Knox last year, Austin Rivers, and Frank Ntilikina. Now, there were a few other people that came and went, but we're not counting them. We're going to count the ones that actually had an impact on the season. So as you can see, the field goal percentages were pretty decent. Derrick Rose, Immanuel Quickley had a 39.5%, but he shot mostly 3-pointers, almost 39%, which is fantastic. Obi, almost a 50% overall field goal percentage. And here, 30% 3-point shooting. And I'm going to show you how they did during the summer to give you some comparisons, which is really nice. Here's Burks, Taj, Knox, Rivers, Frank Ntilikina. All right, let's look at them all here. Let's look at this is again, just so you know, this is the per 100 possessions to give us the offensive and defensive rating and the net rating. So for Rose, 115 to 110. So you can see defensively, he was pretty decent considering the average is 112.3 season average. So he's above and he's below. So he is a very, very plus net rating player. Same with Quickley. And here we have Obi. You look at Obi, 108 defensive rating. So this fallacy, this notion that Obi is a liability on the defensive end of the court is a fallacy. Highlighted right here. Here it is, just numbers. And this is a full season. He played, how many games did he play? Well, I can't remember exactly, but he played something in the 60 games neighborhood. Burks, a 5 net rating, 109. Also, decent defensively. And look at Taj, though. 139 offensive rating, 105 defensive rating for a 34 net rating. Now, here's where it starts getting weaker here, as you can see. And at times in the season, these guys did get some play. So Knox, Rivers, Frank. These were the other 3 off the bench. Knox, Rivers, Frank. All minus net rating players. All minus. So the totality of these, the average out to a 4, as you can see here. So a +4 for the bench. So, nice, which is the Knicks bench played very, very well last season comparatively. Now, let's look at what the new bench might do. Now, the biggest change is that now Nerlens Noel, it will be coming off the bench. And that is a big, big, big plus for the Knicks. Because offensively, that means Mitch Robinson is on the court. He's starting. So he's playing hopefully majority of the minutes at the center position. But now we're going to have Nerlens, and Taj will probably be, he'll be the complementary either power forward or center, backing either Obi or Nerlens up, depending on injuries, depending on minutes load, whatever. But most likely, the top 5 will be the first ones off the bench. It will be part of the main rotation. So we have Rose, Quickley, Toppin, Burks, Nerlens. That is your bench, basically. That is your rotation for the New York Knicks that are going to interchange with the starters. Now, what's nice is here you can see just right off the top, the field goal percentage last season averaged out to 44.2%. Now we're projecting 47.5%. Now, this is just the same stats. This is if these guys did the same things they did last season. Now, we know that's not going to hold. We know there's going to be some, definitely some bump ups. I would imagine Quickley, Toppin will be better. Burks, we don't know. He's an inconsistent player, so he may be in this area. He may not be in this area. We don't know. Rose, we know that his 3-point percentage, these were highs for him. So whether he can maintain that, we shall see. I actually believe that there's a good chance that he will actually, maybe he might regress a little bit, but let's say he regress to 39%, kind of like where Quickley is now. That's still very, very good. Very good, especially for a bench player. And we know Rose could start. It's just we're all talking about minutes loads, and now we have Kemba on the squad. So that's the thing we have to pay attention to here. Now let's look at the 2-point field goal percentages. So Rose 50%, Quickley 40%. That's pretty low, pretty weak. I think he can definitely increase that. Look at Toppin. Nice. Toppin's nice. Burks, 42.5%. That's low. That's low. But Nerlens and Taj give us some nice 2-point percentage efficiency there. Free throw percentage. Look at this. Compared to last season, we're going to have a really good free throw shooting second unit. And look at this. Boom, boom. 48.3%, 52.5% 2-pointers. Okay, well, one thing I wanted to point out is the three-point shooting. Okay, the three-point shooting, you can see last season it was 39.4%. Now, that included Knox, Rivers, and Frank. Now, Frank, look at Frank's number. It was, almost 48% from the three, and Knox was almost 40% himself. Okay, so we did lose some of this three-point shooting because when you look at it, when you take them out, the three-point shooting percentage drops to 38.1%. However, they are being replaced by the two rookies, which are, I would say they are very, very, very good three-point shooters. So we're going to see, I don't think we're going to lose anything in terms of the three-point shooting, even though generally the number right now is a little lower. But when you factor in that these guys are going to get some buckets sometime, these two are going to get some opportunities to shoot. I just think it's going to happen. They're going to get it because they're just too good of shooters to not be given the opportunity. So any of the shots that Knox, Rivers, and Frank took last season, they're not going to get distributed amongst these guys, and they're all much better three-point shooters in general in terms of volume. So Burks, though, he's going to be, if he can maintain this, fantastic. Now, Toppin, we know his three-point shooting is going to improve. We saw it improve. We saw what happened in Summer League. You can see him right here in Summer League, 34.3%. So it already was a nice little bump right there. Boom. Almost 4% jump right there. So this team, look, you can already see the second unit is going to be a better shooting team. Now, the assists, these are total, so there were more players counted in the last season, so we'll see. One thing I haven't shown you guys is McBride and Grimes yet, so just hang on. Now here, we're going to go to the big stats here. Here we go. Offensive rating, 113. Now we're projecting 119. Again, this is not projecting really. This is just basically dumping the numbers in and looking at what the players that are going to be in the rotation are going, how they performed last season. So here we go. 113 to 119, 109 to 107. So everything improved here, and the net rating of 12. So it tripled. The net rating went from 4 to 12 with the new bench. So it's tripled. Now, it doesn't mean, the output's going to triple or anything, but it just means that this year's bench is going to be a lot better than last season's bench. So that is the main story. But there's also a secret hidden ingredient here. Not so secret is we got our boys. We got our draft picks. Quentin Grimes and Miles McBride. Now what I've done is I've taken their college stats and I've plugged them in here just to give you guys a frame of reference. Now these are also per 100 possessions, just to give you guys so we can get to that offensive rating and defensive rating stats. So you can see their field goal percentages were, kind of low because mostly these guys shot a lot of threes. Look at Quentin's 15.3 per 100. So he's a high volume 3-point shooter, but look what he shot, 40.3%. It's fantastic. Look at Miles, 6.3. Not as high a volume as we'd hoped, but we saw him in the Summer League, how effective he was. Look at that, 41.3%. We're talking, look, these two alone averaged 40.7% in college last season. Now, 2-pointers, you can see that's not that impressive a stat. So we're hoping that this increases, but we know that these guys are in this game for the 3-point shooting. Here's the big stats. Offensive rating in college, 120 per 100. 120. 90 defensive rating, 102 defensive rating for Miles McBride. There is the magic number. Now, obviously, they are not going to be beasts like this when they transition to the NBA. There will be regression. But let me tell you, if this number ends up being, similar to what we have up here, a 5 or a 6, same with Miles, we got ourselves a bench. We got ourselves a bench that's going to create some havoc for second units throughout the NBA. This is going to be such a powerful bench. I love it. and there's a lot of diversity here. What's great is like Miles can play off ball and on ball. Same with Quentin, and Quentin can play the 3 spot, the 2 spot, even handle the 1 at times. Taj is power forward and a center. Nerlens is definitely a center. Burks also a lot of flexibility. We saw him; he can play 3 different positions. Obi, we're hoping that he gets some center time this season, but we know he's a power forward. Don't buy him as a small forward yet at all. Quick, we know what Quickley did last season. He played off ball and on ball. He shared some of the duties with Rose, even when they were on the court together. Sometimes they give Rose a break from handling the offense, from the burden of handling the offense. But look how nice, look how efficient these guys. This squad right here, with Quentin Grimes and McBride could probably beat some starting units in the NBA. Some of those bottom echelon teams could probably beat Oklahoma City. Could probably beat Detroit. I think, actually, even though Detroit, they definitely improved. All right, now let's look at Summer League. All right, this is to give us an idea of how much better Obi and Quickley can possibly be this coming season. So Quickley, he took over the point guard duties in Summer League. So you can see here, boom. Now these are not the per 100. These are straight up stats from Summer League. He played 5 games. He averaged almost 8 assists a game. Now, one of the things that were negative, his 3-point shooting was 24%. His overall field goal percentage, 33.7%. But look at that nice free throw percentage. Decent rebounding. And look at his turnovers. For someone who was the primary ball handler, his turnovers were so low. This is like a nice ratio right here between these two. His plus minus. Plus was a 6. Obi Toppin's plus was a 4. Both of them averaged over 20 points a game. Obi averaged 21 points a game. Quickley averaged 20.2. And look at Quentin Grimes and Miles McBride. 15.3, 15.2. Almost identical. Now, Grimes played a few more minutes per game. He put up a few more shots. Look at the nice volume. 9 3-pointers per game, and he hit 40.7%. Now, when you look at that compared to what he did last season, look, 40.3%. So you can see that he carried over his performance from last season to Summer League. Now, what Miles is just as spectacular. He hit 50% of his 3-pointers in Summer League. That's incredible. We don't expect him to do that, of course, in the regular season. But if this 5 can become a 4, we'll jump for joy. We would jump for joy with this. And like I mentioned, the free throw percentage was a little low for Grimes. Not sure what was the story there, but look at Miles. We got an 87.7% average for this foursome here. That's pretty nice. Now, these numbers, the field goal percentage, the 3-point percentage, are all kind of low in total because IQ did not have a really efficient shooting Summer League. So that's what brought all these numbers down. But as you can see, if you just count these numbers, this would be in the 40-something range. It would average out, and this would also be in the 46% range. So this shows you that Quickley really struggled in terms of shooting over the summer, but we know what he can do. We saw him do it in regular season against real NBA players. So this is not a item of concern for me at all. Not at all. So there you have it. This is the new bench for the New York Knicks. It looks dynamic. It looks versatile. It looks like it's loaded with shooting. And what I really love about it is it's loaded with defense. Look at this defense. This is a real number, this 107. I think that they're going to be an excellent defensive unit. And it's all going to be about how many points it can put up. And when you look at the type of shooting that we've added and the versatility, this team is stacked. This is a very, very deep team. Knicks, I would say, is probably one of the deepest teams in the entire NBA. We're looking at last season's stats for benches. All the benches last season. Here's the winning percentage just in general for the team. You can see the Knicks finished 11th. Tied with Atlanta, but of course we got the seed over Atlanta, even though we lost to them. But to gain a real clear understanding of how effective this bench was, let's look at the plus minus. Look at that. The Knicks finished second in the league in plus minus for their bench. Look what the number one bench was, the Phoenix Suns. Shockingly, the Chicago Bulls were number 3. And here, the Bucks, number 7. Pretty good, pretty strong. You can see the best teams have the best benches, other than the Chicago Bulls. Not sure what they were doing on here, but it shows how weak their starters were. Another thing to look at is the 3-point percentage. 3-point percentage, the Knicks, 38.3% for the bench overall. That's very, very effective. And let's look at the rebounding. Not even up there. Let's look at the field goal percentage overall. Not even up there. So you can see the story last season for the bench was all about the 3-point percentage and the defensive efficiency, which is shown by the net plus minus of a 1.7. Excellent. And now the bench has improved for next season.
All right, well, there you see how much better this bench can be this season than it was last season, and last season was a really good bench. This team has gotten so deep. Let me tell you, injuries always mess with everything, but every team has those issues. Miami has those issues, the Sixers, the Nets, even the Hawks. Even the Hawks last season, they missed Gallinari, they missed Bogdanovich, Cam Reddish, DeAndre Hunter. Thing is, their depth was the major difference. Now the Knicks have similar kind of depth. And then the Rose effect. The Rose effect is real. Whether Derrick Rose comes off the bench or ends up starting at some point during the season, we don't know. It's going to be a lot of wait and see in terms of what's going to happen. But right now, Kemba is the projected starting point guard, and we've added Fournier, so that starting 5 is scary good, and the bench is going to bloom under Rose's leadership. Man, I'm so hyped. And our rookies, Miles McBride, Deuce, and Grimes. If they get floor time, and I think they will get floor time, because I think we're going to blow some teams out this season. And with blowouts comes garbage time comes rookie time, and they will get their feet wet so that by mid-season, who knows, there might be some movement in terms of the roster, and maybe Thibs will rest Kemba some nights, maybe he will rest Derrick Rose some nights, and that will create opportunities for Miles and Quentin. And you never know. Look, Burks got hurt sometimes. Fournier, he had COVID last season. He was out. So, no one is guaranteed to play 82 games other than probably, hopefully, Julius and RJ. But I hope their minute load is lower, man, because that's really going to be key. It's really going to be key. Spread those minutes around, especially get Obi on that court. You saw how dynamic Obi was in the Summer League. The dude is just destined to be a 20-point scorer in this league if given the time. So, let's see how it all works out. I have tremendous faith in Tom Thibodeau to continue evolving like he has. All right, well, if you like this video, please subscribe, thumbs ups, and I will be dropping my season predictions video very soon. So stay tuned. And I will see you around the Knicks-Verse.